We are here at Westside Bowl. Thanks to Nate and everyone for the support with the Yo West Fusion Fest. We got New Society here. I'm Indigo Forest. We're hitting them with the business. New Society. It's nice to meet you. We got Christopher.
What's up, y'all? I go by the name Christopher, in the motherfucking building, New Society all day.
Hey, I'm Nisha Baby, First Lady of New Society. It's going.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Tayshawn, and I got the vocals, yeah.
We also want to introduce our man, the key man, who can't be with us right now, but he's 1/4 of New Society. So shout out to Key Man.
Shout out to the
Shout out to the
key.
key. Yes, sir.
High Key. Hi, High Key. So I had the honor of meeting Tayshawn for the first time at Vosh's event and Snaps Only. And that was an enriching experience as an artist because sometimes when you go to a show or a venue, you don't always feel like safe or valued as an artist, just in society in general. You know, my family was all secret artists. Like my dad's dad was a guitar player, his dad's dad was a guitar player, but they like only did it at church, and like they never really talked about it outside of that. Like they're just like we're secret artists, like, but like a lot of the people in the community now are just like, nah, we're like ready for stardom. We are superstars. Like, look at us. Like, we got Paris like right on the wall, right there. Like, literally, like, yeah. So this type of community is really about showcasing artists and like all of us doing our best and trying to be our best. And like that's where Vosh and all you guys come into play, and like I come into play, Nate comes into play. If we have safe venues and we have safe like places to play and like express ourselves, like that's love, that's family, that's like the business. Like
Absolutely. Literally.
Right, absolutely.
Like, for example, I know, like, me and you, I just saw you at the Noble Creature Jam Night, another safe space for artists in the city to just come down and just, show their gifts, show their talents, express themselves musically. It's definitely needed in the city, too. So, I love the small cultivation that we're having in the city right now. It's dope.
right. So this mic is really like low budget, so it only picks up like super close up. So what Tayshawn was saying, I'm gonna elaborate on a little bit. And that's the Noble Creature Jam Night. It's every other Wednesday, and then they have Jazz Night, I think, on every other Wednesday. Yeah, so there's always something going on down there on Wednesday night. So shout out Ira and Noble Creature. I remember when he was first starting his business, he would come down to Susie's, and I was bartending. Right, but rest in peace, Rest in, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hallelujah. But I think that I'm just super excited to get to know you guys, and let's get into some of these questions a little bit so we can do that, and so people at home, can also get to do that. What is your message, and who is New Society to you guys? I want to kind of hear it straight from the mouth.
For sure. So, New Society, our slogan is basically pushing the outlook forward, pushing the sound forward, pushing the art forward that's in our city, Youngstown, Ohio. This was a music collective that was made with love and made with the idea of being better than what everybody thinks we can be. You know what I'm saying? Like, New Society is a music collective, consisted of four people, four amazing, talented artists that I have known my entire life, basically. And yeah, we're just here to fuck shit up, basically. Can I cuss? It's okay if I can cuss. Cool. We here to fuck shit up, basically. So yeah, that's exactly. I hope y'all heard that joke. I hope y'all heard that joke because that was amazing. But yeah, that's who we are. That's who we are.
Okay.
What does New Society mean to you?
New society to me means to be the change that we want to see. Um, we spend a lot of time as a society complaining about what society is instead of doing some shit to mix it up. So, New Society does a whole lot of You know what I'm saying? Changing this shit up. What you think Youngstown is, Youngstown isn't only that. You know, and there's a lot of people who know us. There's a lot of people who don't, and we've been born and raised here our whole entire lives. But New Society is also here to take over. So don't get it fucked up.
Yeah, just kind of to piggyback off what Nisha's saying, like new society means new culture. I know for a very long time around here, Youngstown hasn't had the best music culture. And what I'm saying it's very it's up until recently, it was very seldom that you've seen artists put each other on, that you've seen artists, actually come together and what I'm saying, create safe spaces for each other. But the culture's definitely changing. It's definitely changing. And I believe that New Society is definitely going to be a huge part of that culture changing. So, absolutely.
Thank you, Christoph, Nisha, and Tay, for your perspective on that. It's really important, I think, for artists to be able to collaborate. And I was super inspired by Columbus when I went down there. And Columbus, I don't know if you guys know this, but like my cousin introduced me to some of the underground scene down there a little bit. And like what these cats did is they just bought a bunch of warehouses, okay, and then they sectioned the warehouses off into studios, and then they charge rent for the studios, and then the money they make from the rent takes care of the bills, you know? And they throw parties, they throw all these different things. So to me, everything's like a wave, right? Like Youngstown is an important city, but like we're a little bit lower on the wave. You go out into the countryside, the wave's real low. Everybody's real slow, chilling, talking. But you go out to Columbus, everybody's fast talking, like everything's going on. There's a lot more stuff going on. I don't mean fast talking in a negative sense. I mean literally talking fast. Like, like that's where it is. It's where the business is. So like and so it was beautiful, and I just want to be able to experience that type of stuff here as well, even if it's just a smaller portion, just a little chunk. I think it's really important that we can mirror that, but also make it our own. I ain't trying to be like anybody else, but I can learn from it, and I can grow from it, and we can build something together, where we are. Because like I was born and raised here my whole life, over on the North Side Hospital.
Hey, Northside Hospital.
Hey, yeah. July baby. Is there any Leos or July? Hey, oh, it's all of our like. So many people have birthdays around this fest. So like I'm July 3rd. My buddy Malik's July 2nd. Tamron I know is in July as well. Curly's is the day of.
Mine is going like we're bringing my birthday in, so we're gonna be going from 7 until. So I've been telling everybody, listen, come and help me bring my birthday in. We're gonna turn it up and we're gonna do it the way the yo do it. Oh shit, me and Nigel shout out, cause we got the same birthday then. Oh, that's
We're
crazy.
gonna have to bring some cakes or something in here. We're gonna have
Yes.
to do some candles, all that.
For sure. That's so cool. I didn't know you were a Cancer, but that makes sense.
Yep, July 3rd. Baby. I tell people I'm a day older than America, and they just look at me like,
Like, what? What do you mean?
can't out logic a logicer. But what was one of the best gigs you guys have ever played? Like, cause I've only recently been networking with you guys, so like it can be an individual thing, it could be New Society as a group, but I just want to kind of gauge in on like what's some of the best um, experiences maybe you had, or if you want to talk about the venue, that's cool too.
Ladies first.
Um, I just want to say for the record, every single show that we've had as New Society has been amazing. We've been performing for what, about 2 years now?
About two and a half.
About 2.5. Yeah, time is going so fast. Um, and I would say the best show that we had. Um, ooh, that's a hard one. That's a hard one because we may have all have a different answer. But I think the show we did at the Outpost.
That
Um,
was
er,
lit.
yes, when we did it in Kent, and we did it for HBK. They had a showcase up there.
Shout out to
Shout
HBK.
out to HBK, them our dogs for life. Shout out to Moad.
Oh yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think that was probably our best one. We rocked the house that night. Loved it.
So yeah, like she said, we've done plenty of shows throughout this 2.5 years that we've been performing. But man, I wanted the Outpost was definitely like top three for sure. I think I would go with one of our most recent ones, which is at Beach City out in Akron, because like even though we didn't really have like a stage or nothing like that, the sound for one was amazing. The sound system they had, top notch, and yeah, and the crowd reception was like the best we've ever had. Like I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the liquor in their system, mixed with the good music that they was hearing. But people was giving us the type of energy that we've gotten before, but like on another level. You know, if it was like I want to say like 20, maybe 30 people in the crowd, but it felt like it was 100 with the energy that they gave us. You know, so yeah, the Beach City one that was amazing. Yeah, Fest 2023. Shout out to Master Puff, All Circles Media. They were the ones that got us that opportunity to perform there. So we're gonna do some more shit with them too.
Ooh, okay. I ain't gonna lie, y'all picked two awesome shows, man. Okay, so if I had to pick one, I would have to say Houston 2. The second time we went to Houston. So just to give you a little bit of background on this, in 2021, that was 2021. In May of 2021, a friend of mine who, oh, not even a friend of mine, she's pretty much family. Shout out to Antonia. She hate when we call her that. Tony, I'm sorry. She gonna kill me, but um, but yeah, she had ended up spending some time in New York and met a gentleman who was putting on was looking for some artists because he was coming up with a pilot for a TV show, and he was looking for music for the soundtrack. Shout out to Incognito as well. Incognito, definitely a dope experience. Was about to say we ended up performing for him in May of that year. He liked our sound, he liked what we did, and he invited us to come to Houston the first time. So we went to Houston and we met this group called Leading Legacy, which was ran by Chris Sullivan. Shout out to those guys as well. Chris Sullivan, see you doing your thing, bro. He invited us to come back for a second trip. Now, here's the thing: the second trip was just a little bit different in the sense that, of course, we were just trying to entertain for the first one, for that first trip. But the second trip, it felt like we had to win. We had to win this crowd over, simply off the fact that we from Ohio, so who are these cats? What they doing here performing, So that performance, we rocked the house, to the point to where even the security guard came up to us and was like, "Hey, where y'all from again?" like, but um, but yeah, man, like that show, for one, for me personally, it just solidified that we on the right track. We can do this. This ain't, this isn't just a dream. We can really turn this into a reality. So that's, not to mention, I had never been on a plane up until that year. So traveling on planes is crazy for me. You know what I'm saying? But that whole experience as a whole, man, was just it's very gratifying. So
And all of the performances you can find on our YouTube as well at New Society Records on YouTube. You can find us rocking the stage with the Key Man as well. So check them out. Check them out.
And I love the things that we learned from COVID. Like, I love it. And, like, one of those things, right, we learned to appreciate some of the things that we had and was taken from us, and some of the things that we never had, and because we know life is so short sometimes, and we got to make the most of this right now. Like, why talk like that? I used to have a best friend who's like super into philosophy and stuff, and like, don't get me wrong, I can bullshit about anything all day. I literally can. But like, what it comes down to action. What are we doing right now? What are we actually doing in the community? And that's why I'm so happy that you guys mentioned those great venues, because I want to hear that good news, and I want to hear that good feedback, because all these venues should also network and work together, and like work together on tours, You know what I mean? Like some of these artists that come through here, straight up, there's an artist from Ireland, and he came through here, and he was playing at gigs that were like 5 people, and there was like 15 people here, and he was appreciative. And like he came all the way from Ireland. He was playing some big shows. Don't get me wrong, but like, what if that was like organized on another level? Like we were talking about the union earlier. Like, where's the union? No, I mean that's like realistic, right? Like that's like a goal that we could eventually get to. But you know, certain communities, certain areas have that. You know, I'm talking about that level of organization, like, cause like what I see, super talented people like you guys and other artists, and even myself, like I have to hold myself to a standard too. It's like doing stuff for free all the time, unless it's like your cousins or your brothers or sisters, your real family, like your real like that. You know, it's a trade for trade kind of thing, right? But like doing stuff for free, you know, nobody should be doing that. Like, you know, especially you're putting yourself out there. You've been doing these things for sometimes generations. You know, like generations. Like don't look at me like I'm a newbie. Like you know what I mean? Like yeah, but like it's good to get that kind of love at these venues as well, and I'm glad that you guys have had those experiences, and I hope Westside Bowl becomes a new one of those positive experiences for the next time, like maybe.
Listen. We expect nothing less from Westside Bowl. I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you. I already know what's gonna be lit. I
Right.
already.
Yeah, there's actually an R&B group performing right now, like as we do this podcast. So yeah, so I'm going to get their name for the end for you guys. So I want to hone in on one of the songs I know that Tayshawn worked on, Foxy Jones. And I wanted to know, like, is Foxy Jones like a specific person? Because like after I heard that song a few times, I wanted to meet her. I'm like, I'm trying to know her, trying to meet, like I'm trying to, like, no, is it a
I mean, I'm gonna just keep it as 100 as possible. Um, as of right now, Foxy Jones is literally just a figment of my imagination. I am still searching for Foxy Jones. Um, what was I about to say? But to elaborate just a little bit more on the song, I'm gonna go ahead and toss it over to Christopher because he can explain it a little bit better than me.
Yeah. No, no, no. I just helped write it a little bit. Yeah, yeah. So, when the key man first started to, join New Society, he had mad records that he was just sitting on in his computer. So I told him, I said, bro, just send me mad records. So he sent me one of them, and the name on it was Foxy. It was just Foxy, and all he had on it was just the hook and the beat, and I was like, yo, when the hook comes in, it sounded like Macy's. You feel me? Like it sounded like a commercial. So I was like, yo, I need Teeter on this because Tayshawn is gonna knock this out the park. So and I didn't even know it at the time. He had already sent it to Tayshawn too, and yeah, yeah, yeah. So we just got to work on it. Tayshawn busted out the first verse, and me and him collaborated on the second verse, and then he did the bridge at the end, and and there's this other guy we have to shout out. His name is Easy Lee, Ian Lee, Easy Lee. He just came to the studio session when we worked on this song. I was gonna have another rapper do it, but he just showed up, and I was like, "Hey, yo, I know you came here to vibe, but your presence here just became a lot more important." So he busted out that Will Smith esque verse at the end of the song, and in like 10 minutes, it was amazing. And yeah, we got a hit on our hands. Now we're gonna try and get it on sync licensing and try and get it to anywhere we can. Because it's that big of a record.
Absolutely. Definitely. I just want to say, yeah, definitely. Foxy Jones out on all platforms right now. It is definitely a summer bop. I encourage you guys to check it out. Yes. Anything you want to add?
I just wanted to add that the video for Foxy Jones will be
Yes.
dropping soon.
Yes. Very
We
soon.
did a shoot for that, and it was amazing. Shout out to everybody who came out to that shoot.
Shout out to Nexus.
Yeah, and even though who
Hmm.
Foxy is to me, like sometimes I feel like Foxy, but
Yeah.
in the video, what I'm saying, Foxy got her friend Roxy, and what I'm saying, your girl gonna have a little role in that.
Hmm.
But yes, I just want to emphasize on the collaborative effort that that took for that song to come into play, that is new society.
Yes.
That the whole point of music is to come together. Music is universal. It doesn't matter what language you speak, what race, color, creed you come from. Music is about putting multiple different pieces together.
Right.
So just how he explained the entire process of that song for it to become what it is now, if y'all would have heard it when it was just skin and bones,
Oh yeah.
you can see how dynamic their minds are together. And I'm so appreciative for them putting that art out there. So,
That's what a collaborative and a collective is really about. And like when I first met you, I was genuinely impressed. You know, I loved your music, and I was like, man, there's more to this. You know, because like I don't know, I believe and I've experienced that there is a higher like order to things sometimes, and like it's more about like being intentional or being conscious, you know. And like you said, like music goes beyond our like logical consciousness. Like it goes into a new type of consciousness, like a higher kind of consciousness, and like it connects us. It brings us together, and like as long as you're not being like, oh man, I could play Dream Theater 10,000 times faster than that dude, like, then then it's a beautiful experience, you know. And like I'm so happy that like you guys have like your motto being like a society, a collective, a collaborative, and I'm super excited for the Foxy Jones video because that brings it to a whole new front, you know, because there's going to be some people who are going to dig the music video more than they dig the song. There's going to be people who dig the song, like, and there's just always going to be people like that, and just meeting a different audience and a different perspective, it's going to be great. And like not everybody can come out to every show. So it's going to be nice for people to have a video and they can see your stuff at home, talk about family, stuff like that, you know. I just did the promotional video. My mom hit me up and was just like, "Oh, that was silly as heck," like blah blah blah. So it's just like nice when you get that kind of feedback as well, and that's what really brings the community together as well, as paying the bills too. Because Nexus, shout out to them, shout out Mr. Easy Lee and the key man, Foxy Jones. All platforms. Check the music video coming out soon. All right, and let's pop into the next one. So, what are your guys' like biggest influences in music? And maybe you could say when you guys are in the studio, maybe, or now, or maybe growing up, like meet it however you guys want it to be. Okay, where you are now, we could talk about where New Society is at the moment with your influence, or you could talk about how you know maybe your influences brought you guys together, stuff like that.
Well, I love this question to be honest because like, um, yeah, I love this question to be honest. I have to say my number one musical influence would have to be Michael Jackson. You know, his mantra was study the greats and become greater, and that's literally how I move with everything. You know, I do with art. So definitely him number one. I'd have to say Kanye West for number two. You know, just with he reminds me a lot of Kobe. You know, with the way he was kind of maniacal with how he would hone his craft and become the greatest, and also collaborate with amazing people, and the ability to bring out the best in them is what I really take from him. So definitely Ye number two, and I have to say J Cole number three. You know, because of his lyrical ability, his way to really make you feel and bring out the emotion in his music. That's definitely my number one favorite rapper of all time. So it's got to be those three for sure.
okay, this is a great question for me because I am all over the place inside of here all at one time. It depends on the stage of my life that you ask me that. So, the very first time I really locked in with music and I was like starstruck was Destiny's Child. Destiny's Child, Beyonce, Solange especially. Like Solange when at this time I was being exposed to like Proud Family and stuff like that. And that was very important for the culture. If you did not watch Proud Family, you are probably not a cultural person. But um like people would always have this debate on if that was Beyonce or Solange, and like I looked into it like at a very young age and was like, no, that's Solange. And like I got to get to know a lot about them. The very first CD I ever got as a gift was a Destiny's Child album, and I played that thing until it couldn't play no more. I'm telling you. So I would say yes, Destiny's Child, Beyonce, Solange. I would think right now as a new society artist and being a rapper, um, I pull inspiration from Chris. I pull inspiration from the same people, kind of, sort of. I don't know. I'm all over the place with it. I get inspiration from like Busta Rhymes is one of my favorite of all time rappers. I'm sorry, they don't talk about him enough. They do not give him his flowers enough. A tribe called Quest, like that's the type of person I am. I could jump all the way back. I could be here and now. A tribe called Quest, really, I had a stage when I was like 14. Them, they were all that I would listen to at one point. But I'm not as lyrical as that, but to the influence, you know. So I don't know. I'm all over the place.
Ooh. Well, I know this question, very broad question for your boy because I can honestly say that as a vocalist, I get inspired a little bit by many singers, you know. Um, like every that's one my art teacher once told me when I was younger. Well, he said this in front of the class actually. Some kid was, I forget who the kid was drawing, and then one kid just happened to say he draws better than you, and then like my art teacher pretty much said no one draws better than anybody because everybody draws differently. You know what I'm saying? And that same goes for vocalists. You know, everybody brings something different. Don't get me wrong. There are similar sounding vocalists, but for the most part, every vocalist is unique in their own right. And with that said, I just do my best to try to emulate what a lot of these greats have done. For example, just not to piggyback off Chris, but Michael Jackson, absolutely. Singing Jackson 5 songs was like my first way of even knowing that I was actually good at singing. You know what I'm saying? That definitely brought out the music inside of me. But as far as just coming up, of course my voice changed, so couldn't sing Michael all the time. However, I still got the falsetto, but that's beside the point. Yeah. Was what to say, but as my voice started to change, I had to like come up with different techniques. So now I'm listening to Boys to Men a little bit more. I'm listening to Lauryn Hill, getting those runs down. Listening to a little bit of Whitney, trying to figure out how to get my breath. You take a little bit from every, what I'm saying, take a little bit from all of these singers. And one thing I will say too, just outside of just studying the vocals, I was raised on doo-wop music, and it makes me a sucker for harmonies. I love harmonies. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's not one song, maybe outside of "Tell Me If I'm Wrong," that doesn't have some kind of harmony in there. I gotta have my harmonies. It's just something about it. But yeah, like there's so many different artists, what I'm saying, that I listen to that inspire me, and that I actually have to like try to figure out how they do what they do. Like for example, I heard someone, and I didn't even like realize this up until like somebody said this to me. Somebody was like, "You sound like Akon." I'm like Akon, but hold on, but listen. As I thought about it though, I listened to a lot of Akon growing up. Akon was my guy. I'm not gonna lie. So I could kind of hear that. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, like it's.
Maybe like the crispness of your voice a little bit. Like you and Akon are pretty crisp, like clean.
I feel like it's how you open up
Yeah.
your throat,
Mhm.
like when you belt. I can hear that
Mhm.
because when Akon sing, he opens up that airway
Right.
right there,
Right.
like,
Right.
and it's a certain way he does his
Mhm.
vibrato too. So I can see that. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But that overall, that's a layered question for all of
Yeah,
us
that's a very layered
because
question.
it's kind of like we pull from everything.
Everything. Yes.
Like art is in everything. You know what I'm saying? And crazy because that was the one question when we seen the question list. I'm like, how are we gonna even answer that? Because what are we supposed to say? Everybody and nothing, like everybody and nobody at the same time. You know, it could be us. It could be anybody. But honestly, if you even terrible music and terrible musicians, especially nowadays, give a little bit of inspiration to me because this game is still competitive, right? In a sense. So when you think about it, it inspires you, and you hear what they were trying to do, and it does influence your next step, or in a sense where it kind of inspires you to move a certain way and perfect something that you may have heard before. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't need to be an innovator. You just need to be the best motherfucker doing what you do. Respectfully, my grandfather always taught me that. He said, I don't care if you become a hoe, be the best hoe that there is. Okay? If you want to be the president, be the best president you're going to be. But if you're going to be a hoe, be a good one. Okay?
Yo, literally though. Like, no, but you gotta understand,
Yeah.
man. Like we was raised. I mean, I can honestly say we was raised by some different people, bro.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like
Like,
seriously, like
yeah.
for just me personally, like my grandparents, they had a very heavy hand in how I was raised. Like I was mostly at my grandparents' house. That's why a lot of people think I'm from the north side. A lot of people think I'm from the east side. I'm actually from both because my mom stayed north with my grandparents, and then my dad and my other grandparents on their side was from the east side. So I spent equal time over there. But my grandfather was a pimp, and my grandmother was a hoe, and they were very open about that. They were honest about their testimony, right? And they taught us so much stuff so early. And by the time my grandfather passed when I was 7, I knew way too much about real life. I feel like my but they set me up for success in a way that these Youngstown streets couldn't eat me up and spit me out, because we are from the gutter. Don't get it twisted, but you don't have to be gutter to be from it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why that's one of my favorite mantras ever. If you, I don't care if you are a hoe, be the best motherfucker doing what you doing, and that's exactly how my grandfather used to say it. Looking at a little 5-year-old girl, yeah, be the best motherfucker you can be. You know. Oh, sorry. Did you want to say?
I was just gonna say, like, yeah, we was raised by entirely different people. Cause my mom raised me in the church. All I knew was church up until I was like basically a grown man, you know. So yeah, I was really sheltered, and I had to do a lot of my research like online as far as like other music and genres, and I had to teach myself everything. I had to teach myself how to perform, I had to teach myself how to write a song, and I had to teach myself how to rap and all of that. So so yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's wonderful about coming together in a group, because we all come from different backgrounds, we have different experiences, we have different bars in our mind, we have different ideas, different concepts, and just like being able to come together, that's the chemistry that makes or breaks a show, you know? Like I went to the Mick Jenkins show, which is actually where I met Vosh, which is how I met you as well. So like the Mick Jenkins show was phenomenal. Shout out to YSU and all the grant, stuff that they got to be able to do that, Penguin Productions and all that. But one thing that I thought was a little bit whack, and I'm on a record saying this, is that it was a hip hop headliner, okay, but the rest of the artists were mainly like alt rock, like cover bands. There was like one, I think, guy from Columbus who is a hip hop artist. Shout out to him for coming out here. But most of the other groups were all like rock music, stuff like that. The chemistry is a little off, you know.
No, yeah, yeah, I
So
agree with that. Like, I mean, not calling y'all out YSU, but he has a point. There are plenty of talented artists, hip hop artists down here in this city. You know what I'm saying? That probably could have fit that bill. To which, like I said, nobody's casting blame or anything. I feel where he's coming from though. It would have been nice, what I'm saying, to see, you
More
know,
White Town
some
representation.
White Town representation, especially like he said, it's a hip hop concert.
Right.
The vibe. You know what I'm saying, I'm not saying that there couldn't be any rock, but to have it mostly rock, that's just yeah.
If you're scared people are gonna be bad, just book us. it's really that simple.
Yes. It's Cafe.
And we're gonna bring people, and we're gonna have fun, and that's what the OS Fusion Fest is gonna be about too. Is setting the right kind of vibe and trying to be the best version of ourselves. Because my grandma didn't play either. She was an immigrant here, so she had to figure stuff out. And so she raised her kids, all her 7, 8 kids to to figure stuff out. You know, they were using flour and water for glue on projects, like and stuff. You know what I mean? Like they had to, they had to figure it out. Right. So, like, when you have to figure stuff out, you become intelligent in a different kind of way, and that's where art and things like that come in handy, right? Like, you make things work, and you network with people, and like, you just get it, like, and that's what we're so blessed to have so many artists in this community, and like having these venues to be able to do this is amazing too. So.
Right. And just to say, one thing I will say too, just to even just to go back into, just talking about the culture around here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very important that we do as much for each other as we possibly can. That's really like how it has to be. Like, for example, just with these last 2 or 3 years, I've learned so much, as an independent artist. You know what I'm saying, from where we began. You know what I'm saying. We're definitely navigating the waters a little bit better than when we first started. And my thing is, I feel like, for example, me personally, if I see an artist and I know that they're taking it seriously, but they don't know how to go about it, I'm not gonna gatekeep. I'm gonna tell you what I know. I'm gonna try to save you a few steps. That's pretty much how I was raised. My mom always told me, help where you can. That's one thing about it, man. Like, you just like we it's just getting to a point to where it's just time to pay it forward. It's time for everybody to just I'm sorry. I'm really like terrible at explaining my thoughts a lot of times, but just to round it out, man. Like, definitely, like it's all about just putting on for the culture. It's important at this point. Like, we see all these other cities doing it. You see Atlanta. Everybody talks about Atlanta. You see Houston putting on for each other. Yeah, we're a small market, but are we really doing the best that we can do for each other? Can we definitively say that we're doing the best that we can do for each other? And that's really what it all boils down to. So,
That brings us to this event, and putting on this event is something that was inspired by my other friends putting on events. And we did bars and guitars. We did an art show where we had like hip hop and different
I ain't
artists.
gonna lie, man. I've been peeping the Facebook page, man. Y'all always got something going on.
Right, always got something going
Always
on.
got something going on.
So this is kind of a collaborative, collective thing, and I hope it becomes an annual thing too, because doing outside shows in July and summertime doesn't always pan out. So having something inside is kind of nice. So what? For the last question, this is a question I'm asking all the artists, just like as a summary to cap everything off. So, what does the Yo West Fusion Fest mean to you guys? Do you guys have any questions about it? How do you guys feel about it?
Well, for me, I'm just super excited. I'm just super excited to perform for you guys because this is my very first time stepping foot in this building, and for me personally, I feel like the Yo West Fusion means manifestation because I remember telling this guy and this gal a few years ago that a renaissance is coming. Like, people's mindsets are gonna start changing as far as the art, coming in this city, and that was really one of my main reasons for making New Society is because I wanted to be a part of that push and that movement. This building and the art that I'm looking around here is it's all stuff that's yeah, like it's all beautiful, and it's coming to fruition everything that I spoke about, and everything that I wanted not only for the city but for us as well. So yeah, manifestation for me.
Um, the Yo West Fusion Fest to me means um unity, man. Like, I feel like there's so many different pieces of the puzzle coming together when it comes to the city, when it comes to the creative culture around here, and us getting to know one another, getting to love one another genuinely. There's so many different artists in this city that even if I don't talk to you, even if we never worked together before, I still got love for you because you push forward the culture. And I want to encourage people to come out and really have the heart to connect. I feel like the communication in our city is broken. And a lot of people don't really know how to say what they really want to say without being aggressive or being fucked up or ready to fight, you know? We have to unify in order to know how we can speak to one another, no matter what side of town you from, no matter what race, creed, color, what set you from, all that other BS, you know. It's all about elevation, you know. So that's what this fest means to me. It means bringing all different pieces together and paying it forward, you know.
Yeah, man, the Yo West Fusion Fest. Like, just not to piggyback off what Nisha is saying, but you know, it means definitely means unity, man. It means unity, but it also means awakening, in my opinion, because I feel like this is the type of event that when people come here, they're gonna be, their minds are gonna be blown. Like, yo, I didn't realize like Youngstown had all this homegrown talent and it's all dope. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely gonna be a big awakening. One thing I can like see right now, um, like for example, like whenever like musicians make it big and whenever musicians, have like this storied career somewhere down the line, they make these documentaries and like these documentaries a lot of these documentaries like point to that hub in whatever city that these artists are from, where musicians would gather, where musicians would just be able to just do these things and perform. And like for example, like if you watch the Wu-Tang series, season 2, they had to perform at, what was it, the Fever. They had to perform at the Fever. You know what I'm saying? I can really see West Side Bowl becoming that kind of place. I can see the Youngstown West Fusion Fest, the Yo West Fusion Fest, becoming that type of thing, Like, yo, we got the Fusion Fest this year, bro. Like, we in there. I can see that, like. So it definitely it's definitely an event that needs to happen. I'm very grateful that it's happening. Like I said, it means unity, means awakening.
Thank you. Those are all wonderful answers. And part of doing this, like you said, is to network and communicate with the community. And the fusion part of it is really about mixing music styles, but it's also, like you said, mixing people and stuff like that. And it's just going to be a beautiful event for all of us all to get together and demonstrate like what we can do as well. Like networking with different people and meeting different people who play different music and stuff like that is going to be great. And sometimes like you're like, oh, I know you or I heard of you, but you never actually were in the same room together or something like that. So that's also kind of something that I want to breathe some life into. And originally, I'm not even going to kid you, when you said Renaissance, that's originally what I wanted to call this, was the Youngstown Renaissance Festival. I really wanted to call it that, but they were like, oh, that's too many words and stuff. And I'm just like, all right, yeah, yeah, yeah. But this will be the Youngstown Renaissance Festival, low key. High key, it's the OS Music Fest, but low key, it's the Youngstown Music Renaissance, and we know what it is. That's the business. And I'm really excited to hear some more of this because you guys can't hear it, but somebody just started really unleashing some soul back.
They singing like.
So we're gonna go see that. No, they're actually having a full R&B jazz. It sounds like performance going on. Right. So we're about to go see what's going on with that, and we'll see you Saturday, July 15th, the OS Fusion Fest. It'll be Nisha's birthday is the day after, so come celebrate. Nigel, Clarence, Paris are going to be after the fest, but we all got birthdays around there. Somewhere, somebody was born during the OS Fusion Fest. We're celebrating their birthday too.
Hey, real quick, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much. If you could go ahead and just give us a follow at New Society 330. That is at New Society 330, all one word. Thank you very much.
All right, and this is Indigo Forens signing off, and thank you, New Society, for being here today. And thank you, Westside Bowl, and I appreciate you guys. I'll make sure that all your stuff will be linked. This will be on YouTube, and please like and subscribe and check out their content on all their social media platforms as well. And signing off. Good night.
is a 10 from the bottom to the top. When she walking in them heels, you give everything you got. Just to know her, just to see her, just to hold her, just to meet her, just to show her that you mean it. But there's no luck, but there's no love. She's been all around the world, all